Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the video. Today we have a special guest, Richard Hawthorne, and sorry if I mispronounce your name. And yeah, Powerful is honored to have this guest on this video. Truly, this guy is one of the strongest people on the planet, pound for pound. He is remarkable. He's been lifting for, was it 17 years?
Yes.
17 years, broken so many records. And yeah, for Richard, for those who have been living under a nice rock for the past few years, could you please just introduce yourself, man?
Of course, obviously, my name is Richard Hawthorne. I'm from Biloxi, Mississippi. If you're not familiar with the states and where that is, we're at the bottom of the United States, at the Gulf Coast. Born and raised down here, and like I said, I've been competing for 17 years, lifting a little bit longer. Of course, obviously, I'm known for my deadlift. I feel like I pretty much got it down pat.
Yeah.
My love for squat is greater than my love for deadlift. Most people don't know that, but again, I was named pound for pound strongest person in the world 2013. I totaled 1472 total at the body weight of 130. That was a 562 world record squat, a 308 bench, and a 601 deadlift. And that was done down in Australia, Tasmania, Australia.
Must be quite hot in Australia, man.
I'm sorry?
So it must be quite hot in Australia. Yeah, like one of them, I remember like, was it Kirill Sarychev? Like he pulled like a hamstring.
Say that again. I couldn't say that again.
Oh, sorry. Kirill Sarychev. I remember he pulled like a hamstring competing in Australia, and I think he'll say something to do with like dehydration, something crazy like that.
Who? Hold on. Who? I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry. Like one of these like Russian guys.
Oh yeah. I believe it was.
I can't remember.
I can't think his name. I really
can't. Yeah, it's his name's Kirill Sarychev. It took me took me a while to like pronounce his name properly. I was saying it wrong for like a whole year. But yeah, so it must be kind of in Australia. But yeah, man.
It was a good experience.
It always is, because I guess you get to meet so many people, and it's such like a lovely environment.
Just it was surreal that people knew me down there, you know, and a lot of people actually came from other countries to just watch that meet, and it's hard in the States to get, you know, your friends or your family to go, you know, come watch you, you know, unless it's super close to you, you know.
Yeah.
But it was amazing.
Wow. 1,472 pounds. Crazy, man. Okay, Richard, my first question for you is I am so amazed at how powerlifters, especially like super elite powerlifters like you, are able to put on so much strength without putting on mass. Because like whenever I'm training, I just seem to just naturally just put on mass, and I just find it remarkable how you just get so much stronger, but at the same time retain that body mass. So like, what's the kind of like the secret to that? Do you just simply not eat enough to increase like body mass, or is it not important to increase muscle mass?
The biggest thing is the way I train. I train for compressive strength, being able to maintain weight, and with that also I rest a lot as well. So with both of those type things, that I can build up strength, and also with my rest, it allows me to not to gain so much mass, if that makes sense. Like I said, I've been doing this for quite a while, and to train for a competition and gain just a little bit of mass, and then typically the last couple years it was more so training for a meet and then taking off for a while because of a lot of business opportunities and things like that.
I see.
It really built up my strength. Mass came just a little bit, but I lost the mass because of the time off as well.
I guess you was just so busy as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Definitely.
It's interesting, man. Okay, so like you've had like even up to now, you've had like an amazing powerlifting journey, and you've accomplished so much, and like it's been like a long journey. It's been like a full 17 plus years. What would you say is the main thing responsible for your current success? Would you say it's your ability to kind of be responsible and stop lifting whenever you feel something's wrong? Would you say it's just the time training? Would you say it's your work ethic? What would you put it to?
It's all of those things. One thing that I talk about in my seminars is that you have to have time and repetition. Time and repetition, and just like you said, it's being smart and learning your body, listening to your body. So just like, say, if somebody wants to be a doctor, you have to have time, which is that exposure. And let's put it in perspective. Going to school, going to school and going to get your doctorate, going to be a doctor, that's that time, that's that exposure around that certain genre of information. So you're being exposed to that, and then after you get all the information that you need to get, you have to, when you want to go into the field, they'll tell you you have to be an intern or something. So you have to actually be in the workplace and learn it. That's that repetition. Now you've been exposed to it. Now you have to get the repetition of doing it. You see what I'm saying? So you have to be able to learn the long way around and learn all that you can. So when something pops up, then you know exactly what you need to do.
Yeah.
No matter what. So the time, the exposure, the repetition, and then like I said, knowing yourself, knowing your body, listening to your body. When you feel something, like you said, when you feel something, it's okay to stop. You don't have to be hardcore. You don't have to just muscle your way through things, because that's where you get hurt. I'm very proud of myself for being in this career for 17 years and not have a major injury. I mean, most people within the first 3 years have a major injury, and with the time that I have with the weight to body weight ratio, I haven't had any major injury. Now everybody get tweaks and things like that, but that's just a part of the game. But listen to your body, time, repetition, and it's all about being patient, really.
So I guess it's like keeping in mind the fact that like it's more of a marathon one. It's not just like a sprint, and just thinking long term.
It's thinking long term, and it's way I look at it. It's everything. And in order for you to hit your potential, even get close to tapping into your potential, it's more than just the physical. Most of us look at it as if it's all physical. We're trying to muscle through things. We're trying to speed things up. But really, to tap into your absolute strength, it can have to be the physical, the mental, and the spiritual aspect. That's when you have moments like, say Michael Jordan. When he was hot, he was just in that zone. Everything was clicking. He wasn't thinking. He couldn't. You played sports before, so
yeah.
Right? So you have those moments where everything is clicking. You can hear people out in the audience, but you can't really hear them. You can see people, but you can't really see them. But everything is just flowing. So when you in that state, that's when amazing things happen. Everything just fall into order. So most people can't actually get into that in the lifting world because they're worried about the ego standpoint. They're worried about being hardcore. They're worried about looking tough. They're worried about looking at the weight and saying, I really got to move that weight. You see what I'm saying? But you have to lose yourself in that process. And when you lose yourself in the process, the body is going to do exactly what it needs to do without you trying to control it, if that makes sense. So,
Interesting point.
Yeah, it's more than just a physical standpoint.
Yeah. I like what you said about the fact that you don't always need to be working with like, you know, you don't always have to be like moving like super heavy weights and working with ego, because one thing I've been seeing from like a few powerlifters is that like even weights, you can even get quite a lot of progress and work done, it seems, with like lighter loads. And you might not look like the Hulk of the gym, but if it's working, and you're probably going to have a lower chance of injury if you do more of that sort of work. So it is an interesting point. Because I'm so young, sometimes I'm thinking, oh, I want to hit PB, I want to hit some serious weight, I want to get another PB, and then like if I'm not careful, something goes wrong because I'm not thinking long term, basically.
No, you're absolutely right. So, I tell people to think about it like this: when you dealing with lighter weight, you can manage it. You can manage it and work on your body position, staying in position while doing those movements. Now, when you have heavier weight, you're going to get out of your position. Okay, so the more you can maintain that weight and continue to hit repetition after repetition, then you're training that body to do what it needs to do. With the heavier weight, it's going to pull you out of that form, and you're going to be training bad form with that heavier weight. So the more reps you get with lighter weight, the heavier weight will come. So that's a huge thing, and everybody want personal bests or personal records. You know what I mean? And that's where most fall and not fail and not get close to or get any kind of progress. They always stay in a plateau, in some sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's all. It's pretty much based on the ego. Okay. If you can control your ego or use your ego as a tool, because our ego is a tool, it allows you to get to the area for the body to be used for the body to act the way it needs to act. Okay. Most of us allow our ego to control us. Yeah. So, say, like I said earlier, if I'm looking at the bar and or if I'm looking at the weight on the side of the bar, I'm automatically going to say that's a lot of weight. So the way I'm going to treat it is aggressively. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So when I treat it aggressively, then I'm trying to control what my body is going to do. Everything tense up. I think I got to move this fast. I got to be aggressive with it. So that's when things don't work or don't work out.
So, like, I guess that ties into like what you said in like an earlier video about like explosion. You know, meaning things popping out, things like popping out of joints and stuff like that. But yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely.
If you could like give one piece of advice to like powerlifters out there, what would it be?
Hold on 1 second. I'm being so distracted right now. Hold on 1 second.
Yeah, don't worry.
Outside. No, it's alright. I'm gonna step outside.
Nah, it's cool.
should be better out here. I was distracted the whole time in there. There's a lot going on. All right. Now say that last question again.
Yeah. So if you could give one piece of advice to powerlifters out there, what would it be?
Try to learn yourself. Learn how to feel or understand. Yeah, try to understand yourself. Understand what you're feeling in your body. Not trying to learn by sight. So YouTube and Instagram and Facebook, this is what usually happens. You see somebody move a lot of weight, and I call it the emotional takeover. As soon as you see them move a lot of weight, you be like, oh man, that's a lot of weight. That's awesome. I want to lift weights just like that. And the problem with it is you're trying to emulate what their movement. But the thing is you don't know what that person is feeling. And when you don't know what that person is feeling, there's no way that you can do what they're doing. So we're always trying to emulate what something looks like, but you have to understand what that person is actually feeling, what the body, what is actually activating and how it's activating. And that's where it all went wrong with powerlifting in my standpoint. My perspective of how we're supposed to move is totally different from everybody else's. And I contribute my success to my perspective of how we're supposed to move and operate the body. Just like a few words, like we talked, like you said, explosion. So explosion gives you the wrong perspective. Explosion in speed. The word pull gives you the wrong perspective.
Yeah.
And things like that, because words are very powerful. When you think about a pull, you're thinking about a hinge movement in your body from the waist up, right? But, and all in all, a deadlift is a push.
Yeah.
Okay. In order for me to stand up, the way we all supposed to stand up is finding our balance, leaning forward, finding our balance, and then just pushing energy into the ground to stand up. But if we was to, I'm gonna turn sideways. If we was to think about standing up like we're supposed, like we're deadlifting, or like everybody try to deadlift, then you're gonna stand up like this. You see what I'm saying? It's a hinge motion. That's not a deadlift. Okay, that's not standing straight up. That's that hinge motion. So all we're doing with the deadlift is pushing into the ground. Okay, so that word pull is a hinge motion, which disconnects the body and not allowing the body to work as a unit. So, but when we stand up like we're supposed to, lean forward, find our balance, and push up, the body is working as a unit, and all it's going to do is just straighten out by itself. You know, and it makes the movement a lot easier and a lot more efficient, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
So my advice is finding out, learning your body, and with learning your body, I mean by feeling out what's happening within your body, what you're feeling, and from there you can change your perspective, or even just open your mind to different perspectives instead of just saying, well, he's strong and he talks about this. Yeah. Question everything. Question my information, question anybody else's information. When you start questioning everything, that's when you start finding the truth.
It's powerful, man. Yeah. It's a good point as well, because even like going back to the whole feeling thing, like, each and every person is going to be so unique, and like different things are going to be, like Brian Shaw, for example, is like probably an extreme example. When this guy is deadlifting, he has like massive like wide legs, and that's the most appropriate form for him. He deadlifted something crazy at one of the world's strongest man events on like the elephant deadlift bar, very close to like Eddie Hall, and he uses wide stance, and I think it kind of shows how important your point is. In fact, it reminds me of something I think Andy Bolton said. He said that you shouldn't look at you shouldn't only focus and depend on what your form looks like. You should also focus on what it feels like. Because you're saying that everyone has like a unique biting point or something like that. So yeah, it's a good point because like when you see someone that's really strong, obviously you're gonna think, okay, reverse engineering. If I do exactly what they did, but yeah, it's a good point. It's a good point. We rarely question.
Yeah, we're built like that. We're built to mimic. I mean, as kids, as babies, we're automatically mimicking, what we see. You see what I'm saying? We mimic our parents. We mimic what they say. We mimic walking. I mean, if they couldn't see, if a baby couldn't see us walk, would it ever walk? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's in our nature to try to mimic, but we need to start trying to understand what's actually going on. And even in mimicking, we have to, if we're going to mimic, we have to try to feel what we're doing, but most people don't have the patience to do that. So, yeah, definitely.
All right, cool. Another question I have is about, dead stop deadlifts and touch and go deadlifts. Pete Rubish was talking about how he personally prefers dead stop deadlifts because I think he said he feels like they're harder and he feels like they translate to like a stronger one rep max for him. But what's your views on like using dead stop deadlifts versus touch and go deadlifts? Do you think one of them is superior? Do you think they should be like used like in equilibrium, or they have different kind of training aspects or something? I don't know.
I believe that touch and go is by far superior.
Okay.
The reason being is because people don't understand. People think the reps is what make you stronger, the individual reps. But what makes us stronger is maintaining weight. Okay, that's why load bearing lifting.
Yeah.
Load bearing lifting makes you so much stronger. It's because you're maintaining weight over time. The longer you can maintain it, the stronger you get. That's why I do a lot of 10-10s, 10 sets of 10. The touch and go, when I'm doing reps, I'm maintaining that weight. Say 500 pounds. I'm maintaining 500 pounds with that pressure that whole time without letting go any of that pressure.
Yeah.
So how strong do you think I can get doing that? You see what I'm saying? After you do a single, say you're doing a set of stop and go, all you're getting is just that stop. Just that go and come back down. But if you're maintaining it, you're constantly getting stronger because you're maintaining the right position throughout the whole movement. So you're getting stronger, through that whole time period. So overall, maintaining weight is what's going to make you stronger instead of just lifting it and sitting it back down. If that makes sense.
I'm
sorry.
No, continue.
You're putting yourself in a position to have to condition of being in the correct positioning that whole time without breaking form. So that's what touch and go does. Not bouncing, but you go down, barely kiss the ground, and come back up.
I know full about that as well.
If you go down and hit hard, then you have looseness there. You lose that pressure that you have to maintain, but you have to go down, barely touch, and come up and keep that pressure and that tension.
Yeah.
So that's why I believe touch and go is superior. Now, stop and go, say you're getting ready for your meet and it's almost time for your meet in your last couple sessions. Yeah, you can do a stop and go. A go and stop or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Just to get used to that pressure from the beginning, from the start. Because even with touch and go, the first one is always the hardest.
Yeah.
But through the reps, it's always the hardest to maintain. You see what I'm saying? You have to be able to maintain it through the reps. And that's all that matters, because when you get to your max, the thing that really matters is, say my max is 500. But what if I can maintain 500 like this without touching the ground or my body? What you think I could do with 500? You see what I'm saying? If I can maintain 500 hovering over the ground, I can do whatever I want to 500. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
I guess then you also don't have to be explosive as well, because you also wouldn't have to be so explosive because you're able to like maintain it. So it all works together, kind of thing.
No, you're absolutely right. So being explosive is just what explosive is. We throw that word around in powerlifting and not really understand what explosive is. When you not in the powerlifting realm and you say explosive or explosion, what is that? That's violent. Is it? Is it not? Exactly. So just like a bomb, it goes from nothing to something, and it's destruction. That's what explosion is. So when you have your hands around that bar and you don't have that pressure already initiated, and you jerk on that bar, that's where you see biceps being blown. That's where you see pecs being blown. That's where you see hamstrings and quads being blown from explosiveness. So people don't understand that because their perspective of speed, they got to move fast. No, power is power. Power is continual power going throughout your body, no matter how slow. What amazes a lot of people about me is no matter how slow that weight is moving, it's going to get finished. You see what I'm saying? Because it's constantly moving. You see what I'm saying? That's what power is. Now, what explosive is it's the equivalent of having a blinking light. The power's coming on and off. You see what I'm saying? So how is that going to help you in powerlifting? Being explosive, cutting off the source of power, trying to allow the weight to move off of momentum and then catching it at the top. Does that make any sense? You see what I'm saying? You want constant power throughout the whole thing. So that's why I'm as strong as I am, because I train my body to maintain weight and continue to have power going through it.
Wow, man. It's funny because like up till today, like I didn't really know how to do touch and go deadlift properly, because I would like literally smash it on the ground, and go back up there. And it's a good point.
That's when your form breaks.
Yeah.
It's because you're fighting with gravity. Yep.
Alright, so do you think I know some people have mentioned that like, you know, the switch hands grip can give you like muscle imbalances. Do you think that's like a big issue, or do you think it's something that, you know, you should really care about?
It will. The alternate grip, I do an alternate grip, but it will create imbalances over time. So you just have to make sure you take notice in that and make sure you do the things you need to do to correct that. But all in all, that's part of the lift. And sometimes you gotta take what you gotta take with that standpoint. You know what I mean? You can do hook grip. I'm not against hook grip or anything like that, but I prefer alternate grip. And like I said, you just have to
do what you need to
understand what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Yep.
Cool.
So,
is there anything that you do, I guess, apart from your main training, to specifically strengthen your core?
It's funny that everybody asks that. For one thing, that people think the core is just the abs, and it's not. It's so much more to it, and I'm not gonna get all the way into it, but it's from the neck all the way to down to the pelvis, your core. So, what builds your core is maintaining weight. Just that simple. If you can maintain position, you're building that core to maintain everything. So do I do abs? No. Do I do any kind of other like what is it?
What, the back extensions?
Yeah. No, I don't do any of that. So what I do is maintain weight. That's what builds my core. That builds your compressive strength. So if I'm on deadlift, I'm on deadlift. If I want to squat, I'm on squat. If I want to bench, I'm on bench. I'm not too big on accessory movements because of a lot of times that's training the body in sections. And when you train the body in sections, you're going to lift in sections because of you creating imbalances. Right now, teaching the people that I teach, whether it's at my gym or online or wherever at the seminars, in deadlift, I noticed that because of that hinge and movement, they can't even operate a lift correctly because that lower back is so tight or so overworked that the hip flexors can't be involved in the deadlift. So a lot of times when I explain the way you're supposed to lift, they can't even physically do it because that back is overdeveloped and the hip flexors can't even activate correctly just by moving naturally. So I forgot the point of the question, but you want to use the body as a whole once again, to get the movements instead of separating or isolating movements. For a prime example, do y'all have like little leagues for kids in sports over there?
Yes, we have. You have like yeah.
Okay, so even a little bit further, say if you have like a high school or something like that, any kind of sport, what happens when you have a tremendous athlete on a team, and they do everything perfect? What happens to their mind? They believe that they feel like they don't have to do what everybody else have to do because it comes to them, right? So this person or this child or this kid feel the need that he's already great, so he's not going to work. Okay, so what usually happens to that unit of a team? Okay, he feels here while the other kids feel here. Now it's going to be dysfunction. So the team is eventually not going to work as a unit, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So same thing here. When you doing isolated movements, a lot of times you create those imbalances. So this one is overdoing things, and the rest of them not chiming in. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's not working as a unit. So it's the same thing. It's the same exact thing. You have to work everything as a unit, or you're going to have weaker links, or you're going to have stronger parts that just take over, and the body won't work as a unit.
Quick question. Say someone has like developed like a lower back, and they have like relatively very weak hip flexors, like the example you were saying before. What should someone in that situation do? Do they need to strengthen the hip flexors to kind of like get back to normal?
They need to deadlift with light weight. Deadlift with light weight. Understand the balance of energy in the feet and understand the balance of structure, and then practice slowly moving in that movement all the way through by pushing into the ground. When you push into the ground, you're gonna you're going to stand up erect. You're not saying, well, I got to push my hips forward or I got to hinge back. When I stand up, when I push in the ground, I'm going to stand up straight. Okay, so when you're doing that lift, you have to really concentrate in pushing directly into the ground. And even when you get to the top, pushing more and more into the ground to where everything extends. Okay, so you have to move slowly. Okay, and allow those hip flexors to develop. You see what I'm saying? So it's all about being patient and allowing the hip flexors to activate by going through those movements the right way, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Just to go a little bit further with that, what I've noticed is when people get to almost to that lockout and their back is here and they feel like they have to hinge, they have to hinge because, like I said, the back is overdeveloped and the hip flexors can't fully extend, so they feel like, well, since the hip flexors, they don't know what's going on, but since the hip flexors are not going forward, they feel like they have to do. Yeah, exactly. So therefore, every time when they're training, no matter what, they don't even know they're doing it. They're doing that hinge, and they continually miss out on those hip flexors extending. So if you do it slow, if you do it slow and allow those hip flexors to extend, then you'll slowly build that up, and everything will start clicking. So that's how you would do it naturally.
Yeah, and I guess that way you're still working as a full unit.
Exactly.
So that's very good. A very good point. Okay. Have you ever had times when you've been like extremely busy and had to balance like powerlifting with basically life? And if so, like how do you do that? Like how do you balance things together?
Oh, that's been pretty much my whole career. It's been pretty hard for me. I can honestly say I've had a hard journey trying to balance powerlifting with life. I won't take anything back, but I could have done so much more in powerlifting if the things in my life didn't go on. Could be so much further, but it all taught me lessons and things that I actually needed in my life. But how do I balance it? Being patient, knowing that everything is for a reason. Like I said, I won't take any of it back because it's a lesson. A lot of us think the bad things that happen to us is bad, but really it's a lesson for you. There's no such thing as bad. Well, how can I say it? It's called polar polarity. Okay, you can't have bad without good, and you can't have good without bad. So the bad thing that comes into your life, it's there to teach you good, so you can be better at the other end. So we should always think about those things as being lessons, which they are. So take you back around 2005. I was around 21, 22. I was 22 years old at the time, and that's when I was lifting equipped, and I was lifting with some huge names. My name was getting big. At that point, I was lifting gear, like I said, and I was on the verge of squatting a 705 in a meet. I did a 722 for a double in training, and I wanted to hit a 705 at 130, and that was in 2005. So right when I was getting ready to do this huge meet, a hurricane hit. It was Hurricane Katrina. A lot of people may know Hurricane Katrina because it's the worst hurricane in history. it hit August like 29th, and obviously it was a lot of destruction down here. I lost both my jobs, and not only that, 2.5 weeks later, my daughter was born in a hospital that was half open.
Yeah.
So what that did was, of course, put a big stop on my powerlifting career. Like I said, I lost both my jobs. I didn't train for about 4 or 5 years. And I was weighing maybe about 116 because I lose a lot of weight if I'm not lifting. But that put a damper in my powerlifting career. But it was bad in that sense. But what happened at that point, as I look back, I went in and out of jobs. Okay, and each job that I got and I lost, it developed me. It taught me how to secure businesses. I was a security guard. It taught me how to manage money. Each job taught me different things, and I look back and I'm like amazed at what actually happened. And like I said, I went from job to job because all the jobs were at that point were contract jobs of building or having to secure or having to deal with other things, and it just prepared me for what I always said I wanted. I always said I wanted a gym of my own. And like I said, when I look back now, it's like, wow, each job prepared me for a certain situation.
Yeah.
And I can't be mad over that. All I can see is good from that. I was out of the game of powerlifting for a while, but this was more of a blessing to me than powerlifting. So you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I came back to powerlifting and continue to do what I do. But if that wouldn't have happened, I wouldn't have my gym now. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I wouldn't know how to operate a gym and control people as far as handle a lot of people at once or speak or things like that. So I find that there's no real bad in anything. There's always good if you take the good out of it. You always have to find the lesson, use it, and go forth. So definitely, life is life. You got to take it and run with it.
Yeah. It shows a lot about mindset as well. The way people think about things, how that can dictate the whole situation. Because some people would think, some people would be so distraught they would stop, basically. And it's interesting because Hawthorne was horrible, but now when you wanted to start your gym, you had like a full base of understanding of how to do everything. And whenever a problem comes up, like, I can solve this, I can solve that. And it's interesting how something that was so destructive at the same time. Wow. Yeah. It's amazing, and I've noticed a lot of that in my life. And most people can, if they sit there and really look back and try to see the good or try to understand why things happen or what you learn from that certain situation. So yeah, it's definitely a good mindset to have, because if you don't have that type of mindset, then you're going to bury yourself in stress and disappointment. You see what I'm saying? So it's always positive. It's always pushing forward type of mindset, which is good, and what everybody needs, because every little thing that everybody gets, they're like, oh, what's next? Yeah. And
when you have that type of body language and that type of thought, bad things going to continue to happen to you, because you attract your mindset in a sense.
Yeah.
So it's huge.
It is. Wow. Okay. Next question. I know you pretty much never take supplements. I guess, unless like Animal sends you like a product to review. What's your diet like? Yeah, what's your diet like in general? Do you? I guess you probably just eat what you're used to eating and just watch your weight probably. But
For a long time, I ate what I ate whatever. It wasn't never. I never been like a junk addict. I don't eat fast food. But I really didn't worry about. I really didn't worry about a particular diet, anything. But powerlifting to me, lifting to me, movement to me is a spiritual thing. And the more and more that I got into powerlifting, or the more and more that I start to understand more about what I do naturally and how I operate my body, and it becomes more a spiritual thing, it's been pushing me to become vegan. So right now, that's what I'm fighting for is, and when I say fight, I mean fight for becoming vegan. That's just something that's been coming to me that I feel like I need to do. I am a meat eater. I love meat. I love steak. I love chicken. I love all that. But what I have noticed when I eat more vegetable base and nuts and things like that, I feel my cognitive thinking. My thinking is so much better. I'm more creative. I have more energy. I feel stronger. I can tell. I get sleepy during the day if I'm not more so on the vegan side. If I'm more of eating like garbage, I get sleepy. Like I really want to just pass out. It's been an eye-opener for me because I've really noticed how, as a whole, as a person, not just the physical standpoint, but the mental and the spiritual, I feel so much better, and I can operate so much more efficiently. So that's what I'm pushing for. I'm not perfect by any means, so like I said, I'm fighting to, become vegan, and I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna be patient with it. I'm not gonna do it cold turkey. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna say cut everything out because that's not realistic.
That's a good point.
I always try to do things the right way and just gradually get better. You know what I mean? Over time, just like with powerlifting, I gradually got better. So that's where I'm headed now. With the supplement standpoint, it started off by me not taking supplements. Started off by just being lazy with supplements. I just never could constantly do it. I would take some protein for a week and then not take it for months. You know what I mean? So I was like, I'm doing good without it, so why even take it? You know what I mean? Other than pre-workout, I can't stand pre-workout. Pre-workout to me is a false motivator, and it's an addictive thing. A lot of people feel like they need pre-workout. If they don't have pre-workout, they say, well, I can't go to the gym. I don't have any pre-workout. You see what I'm saying? It's more of a mindset. It gets in your head and say, well, if I don't have pre-workout, I can't do what I need to do, which is crap. You know what I mean? So I definitely don't deal with pre-workout no matter what. Plus, the first time that I took pre-workout was around 2004, and I was at a big meet, and one of the guys, I should have known better anyway, because he was kind of spastic, you know what I mean? Usually in between your bench and your deadlift, that's where you kind of get tired and your body's almost just ready to just give up, you know what I mean? And I was behind stage, and I was just drained, and this guy came up to me. I think his name was they called him Phil Squatzilla, Philzilla. So I can't think of his name right now. It's been so long. But he was like, yeah, I got this. It was something. I can't remember the name of it. But he was like, yeah, put it under your tongue, let it dissolve. And when I say I did that, I sat in my seat back behind stage, like literally in convulsions. And from that day forward, too, I was like, I would never do another pre-workout, you know. But yes, have I tried pre-workout after that? Yes. I have, just to do a review or for Animal once or twice, not that many times, but yeah, I'm not big on pre-workout at all, you know. Yeah, it's just not. It's not for me. It's not the type of mind that I believe that people need, because we need to be more mentally strong than what the world is today. You see what's happening to the world right now is because we're mentally weak. You know, we're being separated. You know. Period. You know what I mean? It's all those labels and things like that. Anytime when you have labels, you're going to have problems. You're going to have separation. You're going to have problems. So they separating us through, you know, media, through food, through, you know, all kinds of things. And that's messing with us mentally, you know. And so we're becoming mentally weak, and using meds and pre-workouts and all that to alter our thinking or our inside feelings is actually giving us a false mindset. You see what I'm saying? Instead of developing that on your own, because when it's not there, you can't develop it no longer by yourself. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's just like sense of steroids. I'm not against steroids by no means if somebody's doing it correctly, and if you have doctors watching you, over you, and all that good stuff. I'm not against it. But here's the thing, especially if you're young, okay? If you're under 30, you have no business doing steroids, because you're producing all the testosterone that you possibly need. You see what I'm saying? But once you start using steroids,
messing up
your body stop producing testosterone.
Yeah.
And once you get off of that steroid, your body no longer produces much testosterone as it's supposed to. And that's what people don't understand with medicine, period. Any kind of medicine for anything. Whatever that medicine is doing and bringing to the system, your body is going to physically stop making that hormone. And that's affecting your mind, affecting your body, and therefore, when you get off that medicine, you can no longer produce it. So it's a lot of things that actually affect us mentally that we don't even think about, you know. So I don't do supplements for that reason.
Yeah. And
for other reasons that I just couldn't stick with them, you know.
Yeah. It's interesting how you talked about with like the pre-workout, how people become dependent on them. One of the reasons why I personally don't like to take like pre-workout and creatine as well is because I don't want to. Whatever I do in the gym, I want to know that I can do it, like basically on myself. And then like if I get like a sweet PB or just have a nice day, and I had like tons of pre-workout, tons of creatine or anything, I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying that in that scenario, I just feel like next time when I want to achieve something in the same degree, I'm going to think, I need to be in the same sort of stuff. And then it's like, this is a nice feeling knowing that you can do something just so but basically like by yourself.
Exactly.
But yeah.
No, you're absolutely right. That's a good mind thought process, because that's exactly what's actually happening. Because not only physically it alters you, but mentally, on a bad point, your confidence on what you can do yourself is not there. Definitely.
You mentioned how like with the vegan diet, like it's making your body just function a lot better. You're less fatigued, less tired for the day. The brain is just running better. do you think that's from not eating meat, or you think it's mainly from not eating meat, or do you think it's mainly from eating more like vegetables and like dark greens and stuff like that?
Well, it's not eating junk. And when I say junk, a lot of us don't realize what we're eating. Canned foods. I mean, pretty much everything that's not grown from the earth.
Yeah.
It is basically creating mucus in our body because it doesn't match with our pH level. So if it don't match with our pH level, it creates mucus in our body, and that's why we get sick. Is because of the mucus buildup in our body. So it's based off of, was it grown? Does it match to our pH level? You see what I'm saying? So that's why the brain functions better. You see what I'm saying? It's that's a part of us, you know. So if it's not us, you have all of the preservatives and all that good stuff, and all that. So it's affecting the body in a negative way, and it's scary because it's like, what can we eat? You know what I mean?
Yeah. But everything's like processed now. It's kind of crazy when you think about it. Like I was doing calisthenics with some guys like a few hours ago, and one of the guys, one of like the pro calisthenic guys, he was like, I think I was talking to him. I was saying, well, even like pasta's processed unless you make it yourself with the flour. But the flour itself is gonna be processed unless you like grow the plant yourself, the wheat, and it's kind of like flip. Like what, everything's like processed nowadays.
Like I said, it's so scary when you start to think like that, because that's exactly what's happening. Because if you don't do it yourself, how you know? You know what I mean? And the biggest thing is the reason why it's all processed because they don't want to waste money.
Yeah. You
see what I'm saying? They want it to last so they can sell it. You know what I mean? You know, and they have to have a bunch of preservatives in it. They have to process it and do all that because it's more beneficial to them because if they can't preserve it, they losing money, they losing time and all that good stuff. So it's very scary to really, if you really want to understand what's going on, you know, and what all affects our body, it can be a paranoid type feeling, you know what I mean? Yeah. But life is life. I mean, even though I know all this, I know that it's life. You got to take the good with the bad, you know what I mean? So, you just gotta live and try to make the best choices that you can, you know?
All right. So let's grab the question. Okay, so what are you planning on doing now and like in the future?
What I'm doing now, what I'm working on, I've been writing a book for the past few years, and I'm trying to get it finished up to get out. I want to release that. I've been focusing on my seminars. This year was my first go around of doing seminar circuits. So my whole thought on what I teach in my seminars is, yes, I'm teaching the right mechanics and how to lift, how to be stronger, but I'm also teaching the mental aspect. I'm also teaching the spiritual aspect with that as well. It's a bigger message, and the bigger message is getting people to understand themselves through movement, because one thing here, a lot of people don't understand why they go to the gym. They do, but they don't. So when most people go to the gym, they go in for the cosmetic. They go in because they want to look a certain way, right? But when they get in the gym and they start working out, and they start to see results, okay, their minds start changing, okay? They start to be more dedicated. They start to troubleshoot. They start to see that they can reach their goals. They start to develop worth ethic and all that. So it moves from the physical realm to the mental realm.
Yeah.
And they don't know why they get stuck in the gym. It's not because of the physical, but it's because of the mental side, because they start to develop mentally and feel good about themselves. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But in the long run, it will branch off into the spiritual part as well. But for most, they get into the mental realm, and they get stuck in the gym because of that feeling that they get because they start to develop as a person. And when they start to develop as a person in the gym, it leaks outside the gym to their jobs, to their life at home, and to everything else. So my biggest message is teaching people how to really feel out their body, learn their body, and get those results by moving correctly and operating their body. And then they'll start to develop, they start to develop mentally. And once you start to develop mentally, you become a lot stronger mentally and learn more and more about yourself on a mental standpoint and become more of a better person. And once people start becoming better persons individually, they start treating everybody better. You see what I'm saying? So that's my whole outlook on that standpoint. But another standpoint is what I see in the future. I go against the grain in everything. So I see that my perspective is going to change the whole outlook of fitness, period. And I feel and I believe that's going to happen. And everything that I have said that I wanted to do have came into the physical realm.
Yeah.
Just like after my first state powerlifting meet in high school, I automatically said I was going to own my own gym. I was going to become pound for pound strongest person in the world. I was going to write a book. I didn't know what type of book, but I was going to write a book. I was going to break Lamar Gant's record, and all those things came true to me. And that was when I was in 9th grade. You see what I'm saying? So, what I feel and what I think and what I believe in myself, it always usually come to pass because I believe it, and I stick with it. You know what I mean? And that's just what I feel right now, and I think I'm gonna have a huge impact on the fitness industry, and I'm gonna change that whole perspective. So that's what I'm looking to do within the next few years. It's gonna be hard. It's already been hard, but it's gonna be hard. But I feel like there's no denying what I teach. You see what I'm saying? Because I leave no loopholes in anything like that. Excuse me. Let me see if I can turn this light on real quick.
Okay, cool. Ooh, sweet. Alright. That's cool. That's cool. Boom. That sounds interesting, man. Yo, when you finally get that book done, I'll be one of the first people to buy that. I like books, man, and
Awesome.
books are powerful. So I'll definitely be looking forward to that. Yo, man.
Awesome.
Thank you so much for this interview. Like, I'm sure everyone's going to benefit so much from this video. You've spoken so much from the whole explosiveness, like body mechanics, feeling yourself, even off the diet, and yeah, thank you so much.
I appreciate you wanting me on.
Oh, of course, man. But yeah, I guess that concludes the interview.
What'd you say?
I guess that concludes the interview.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I actually been finished with the rough draft for a while.
Oh, sick.
I've just been waiting on my co-writer to finish up. So it should be put together here within the next few months. And soon as he send me his rough draft of it, I'm gonna add just a few more things, and it should be out here, like I said, in a few months.
Should be out. Sick. I'm looking forward to that, man.
Awesome.
I'm looking forward to that. Alright, cool. Yo, thanks a lot, man. I'm gonna have to wrap this up and catch my lecture in the morning. Well, honestly, thank you so much.
Why don't you stick to your main deadlift sessions? Like, on your assistant's deadlift session, your second day, mix it up. So prepare yourself for something you might do. Don't just neglect something on the chance you might not do it. What if in 5 years' time you'll come back to say, I want to do a powerlifting deadlift? I've got that good